It's week 4, and the Buffalo Bills are right on the edge of something special. A win this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints would push them to a perfect 4-0 start. And while the record sounds sweet, what lies beneath the surface of this matchup is even more interesting. We're not just talking about any opponent here. The Saints might be winless, but there's a lot more to this team than their 0-3 start would lead you to believe. Let's get into exactly what the Bills are up against and how they can come out of this game not just victorious, but dominant. Back home at Highmark Stadium, the Bills will welcome a Saints team that's undergone some major transformations this season. From a new head coach to a rookie quarterback under center, this isn't the New Orleans team most fans are used to seeing. And yet the last time these two faced off, the Bills absolutely crushed them. That 31-6 win back on Thanksgiving in 2021 was a statement. But prior to that, New Orleans had the upper hand, winning 5 straight matchups by an average of 3 possessions. This isn't a team Buffalo can afford to overlook, no matter what the standings say. Let's start with what the Saints are bringing to the table. Their head coach, Kellen Moore, is the youngest in the NFL at just 37. He's had a meteoric rise in the coaching ranks, and while this is his first year running a team, his experience as an offensive coordinator in Dallas, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia has put him on the fast track. He's known for his creative offensive schemes, and now, with a young quarterback in Spencer Rattler, he's trying to build something new in New Orleans. Now, Spencer Rattler might be one of the most fascinating storylines in this entire matchup. Drafted in the 5th round out of South Carolina, Rattler beat out Tyler Shaw in a legit quarterback battle during the offseason. And while his record as a starter isn't anything to brag about, the Saints are 0-9 in games he started. There's clear growth in his game. The guy has a rocket arm, no question, but there's still plenty of growing pains. He's completing 67% of his passes, averaging a little over 200 yards per game, with 4 touchdowns and just 1 interception so far. On paper, that doesn't scream disaster, but the advanced numbers tell a more complex story. He's getting the ball out fast, 4th fastest in the league in time to throw. He sticks with his first read about 71% of the time, which is among the highest in the NFL. And yet, his turnover-worthy play rate is sky high. Nearly 6% of his throws could have been picked. He's gotten lucky so far, but that kind of stat tends to catch up with you eventually. This is where the Bills' defense has to capitalize. Pressure him, disguise looks, and take away that first read. Force Rattler to hold onto the ball and try to make something happen outside of structure, because that's where he gets into trouble. He believes he can do more than his athleticism allows. That confidence, or maybe overconfidence, leads to mistakes. Now, let's talk about his weapons. The Saints have speed, no doubt. Chris Olave is their top target, a burner who can take the top off any defense. Rashid Shaheed, their number 2, is explosive both in the pass game and as a returner. Brandon Cooks adds veteran presence, even if he's not the game-breaker he used to be. And Devin Vele gives them a big-bodied power slot option. But here's the twist. Despite all that speed, they're not hitting big plays. Olave is averaging just over 7 yards per catch, and Shaheed isn't far ahead at 9. The only guy on the team averaging over 10 yards per catch is the backup tight end. That's wild. It tells you the deep ball hasn't been working, or maybe they just haven't been able to execute downfield. Either way, it's a strange trend for a group loaded with speed. At tight end, Juwan Johnson has become a reliable receiving threat and is second on the team in targets. He's paired with Jack Stoll, a solid but unspectacular veteran who does the dirty work. Out of the backfield, it's the Alvin Kamara show. Still one of the most versatile running backs in the league, Kamara brings tough running and elite receiving skills. He's never been a 1,000-yard rusher, but he's deadly in space and fights through contact like few others can. Behind him, Kendre Miller adds some youth and energy, but he's still finding his footing. The offensive line is a mixed bag of raw talent and questionable fit. 4 out of 5 starters are former first-round picks, but that doesn't mean the unit is elite. Rookie Kelvin Banks, a top 10 pick, is holding down left tackle, but many believe he's better suited for guard. Trevor Penning, another high pick, is switching from tackle to left guard, a position he's never played in a regular season game. At center, Eric McCoy is a rock, one of the top players at his position. Cesar Ruiz at right guard is solid, and Tessie Fuaga, a second-year player at right tackle, is still developing. There's a lot of investment in this line, but it hasn't quite clicked yet. So what does this mean for Buffalo? It means opportunity. Joey Bosa and Greg Russo need to feast on these tackles. Deion Walker and TJ Sanders have to show growth, especially against the run, where they've looked shaky. The interior battle between Buffalo's D-line and New Orleans guards will be critical. And most importantly, they need to make Rattler uncomfortable. If he's forced off his first read and made to improvise, the advantage swings heavily in Buffalo's favor. One more thing to watch: tempo. The Saints run at the fastest pace in the league. Quick snaps, fast transitions, barely any time between plays. That can catch defenses off guard if you're not ready. We've already seen Buffalo get caught communicating too long, like in that Week 1 game against the Ravens. You can't afford that this week. You got to be lined up, locked in, and ready to go, because New Orleans isn't waiting. All of that boils down to this. Buffalo has the tools to dominate this matchup, but they have to stay sharp. The Saints might be 0-3, but they're not walking in with their heads down. They're young, they're fast, and they're trying to prove something. The Bills have to take control early, win the trenches, and force mistakes from a still-developing quarterback. And if they do that, they won't just win, they'll make a statement. Now let's flip it over and talk about what the Bills' offense is going to face on Sunday. Because while the Saints are struggling, especially on defense, this is still the NFL, and things can change quickly if you're not prepared. So let's really break down what's going on with this New Orleans defense and where Buffalo can take advantage. The Saints are giving up 30 points per game right now, one of the worst marks in the entire league. They're near the bottom in almost every important defensive metric. 26th in overall defensive efficiency, 29th against the pass. They've been slightly better against the run, but even that hasn't been enough to save them. Third down defense? Bad. 56% conversion rate allowed. That's a disaster. Red zone? Just as bad. Opponents are scoring touchdowns on 80% of trips inside the 20. That's not just a trend. That's a full-blown problem. This is the kind of defense that Josh Allen and the Bills' offense should be able to exploit from start to finish. But it's not just about numbers. It's about how they play. The Saints don't blitz a ton. They're right in the middle of the league in blitz frequency, and they hardly run man coverage. Only 17% of the time are they playing man, which is among the lowest in the league. What they do love to run is cover 3. In fact, they run it at the third highest rate in the entire NFL. And that's where things get interesting. Because cover 3 has weaknesses, clear ones. The seams, the flats, and underneath crossing routes. Those areas are exactly where the Bills' offense likes to operate. Think about guys like Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid working those seam areas. Dawson Knox sneaking out into the flats. James Cook getting involved in the passing game underneath. And of course, those mesh concepts that Buffalo loves to use, dragging receivers across the field and creating rubs that spring someone wide open. If the Saints stick to their usual tendencies, there's going to be a lot of open space to attack. Let's get into personnel. Up front, they've got a mix of experience and youth, but not a lot of consistent impact. At nose tackle, it's Devon Godchaux, a guy Bills fans have seen a lot of over the years from his time with Miami and New England. He's a steady run defender, not flashy, but solid. Then you've got Brian Bresee, a former first-round pick who's athletic and disruptive at times, but still learning to control that power. Alongside them, there's Nathan Shepard and Jonathan Bullard, both guys who can penetrate but don't hold up great against the run. On the edges, Carl Granderson is the standout. He doesn't get talked about much, but he's an effective pass rusher who can also hold his own against the run. Cameron Jordan is still around, and while he's not the same dominant force he was earlier in his career, his leadership and experience still matter. Chase Young is expected to be back in the lineup this week, and he's a bit of a wild card. The former number 2 overall pick has flashed, but never consistently. He got a new deal from the Saints, and they're hoping he can become that difference maker off the edge. Then there's Chris Rumph, a smaller, quicker defensive end who might be used as a situational rusher or even a spy against mobile quarterbacks. He's a chess piece they'll try to move around. At linebacker, Demario Davis is still doing his thing. One of the most physical, tone-setting linebackers in the league. He might be getting older, but his instincts and leadership make him a problem. He plays downhill, attacks blockers, and sets the tempo for this defense. Next to him is Pete Werner, a young guy who's reliable, if not spectacular. Together, they form a solid duo, but neither is really equipped to handle the kind of speed and diversity that Buffalo brings on offense. Now here's where things get really shaky for the Saints on the back end. The cornerback situation is full of question marks. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a young player with upside, but he's had an up-and-down start to the season. Quincy Riley, one of their rookies, got more snaps last week and played well, but he's still a rookie learning the game. Isaac Yiadom is more of a depth piece than a starting caliber corner, and Alani Taylor is their most versatile guy, bouncing between the outside and the slot depending on the formation. There's talent here, but it's raw and inconsistent. At safety, Justin Reed brings veteran stability. He's been a starter in the league for years, and while he's not elite, he knows what he's doing. His partner back there is rookie Jonas Sanker, and while Sanker has promise, he's still learning on the fly. It's not ideal to have a rookie safety paired with a group of improving corners when you're facing Josh Allen and the Bills. So how do the Bills take advantage? First off, their offensive line needs to own the trenches. The Saints haven't been getting pressure consistently, and their run defense has holes. This is a game where the Bills should be able to establish the ground game early and often. Whether it's James Cook, Latavius Murray, or even Josh Allen on some design runs, there should be space to operate. And when the run game gets going, it opens up everything else. In the passing game, the Bills need to spread the ball around and stay true to who they are. There's no need to force anything. Just read the defense, exploit the soft spots in that cover 3 shell, and let the playmakers do their thing. This is a defense that hasn't shown it can stop a balanced offense. They're giving up big drives, struggling in the red zone, and missing tackles. If the Bills stay efficient and protect the football, this could be one of those games where everyone eats. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Kincaid, Shakir, this could be a feast. And let's not forget special teams. The Saints have some real issues there. Their kicker, Blake Group, is shaky, just 4 out of 7 on field goals this year and under 82% for his career. He's already missed from every distance. Their punter, rookie Kai Kroger, ranks near the bottom of the league in punt efficiency. That means field position could heavily favor Buffalo. Now, their return game is a different story. Rashid Shaheed is dangerous. He's already taken 2 punts to the house in his young career and averages over 13 yards per return. That's elite. Do not give him space. If you're punting, angle it out of bounds. Don't let him flip the field or give the Saints life with a game-changing return. He's the one guy on special teams who can change the game with a single play. All in all, the pieces are there for Buffalo to take full control of this game. They're at home, they're the more complete team, and are facing a young, inconsistent Saints squad that hasn't found its identity yet. But it's still the NFL, and nothing comes easy. They'll need to execute, stay focused, and most importantly, play their style of football. Because when this Bills team is clicking, balanced on offense, fast and physical on defense, and tight on special teams, there aren't many teams in the league that can stop them. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing after recent statements from SHEDEUR Sanders, the rising star quarterback whose talent has already turned heads at the college level. In a candid interview, Sanders reportedly made headlines by claiming that he would never play for the Buffalo Bills, sending shockwaves through a fan base that had been quietly hoping for a potential pairing in the future. While the NFL draft is still months away, the comment has reignited speculation about where Sanders might land, and it has left some teams on high alert. Sources close to the quarterback suggest that his refusal is rooted not in personal animosity, but in strategic career planning. The Bills, despite their strong roster and playoff appearances, may not fit the young quarterback's vision for his professional journey. Insiders hint that Sanders is considering teams with a more dynamic offensive scheme, or franchises where he could emerge as the undeniable face of the franchise from day one. This adds fuel to ongoing debates about which NFL squads are truly quarterback-friendly and capable of nurturing a prodigious talent like Sanders. The remark has, of course, sparked a flurry of reactions on social media, with fans dissecting every possible motivation. Could it be a clash with the coaching philosophy in Buffalo? Or is Sanders signaling interest in teams with high-profile passing games, such as the Chiefs or the Cowboys? Analysts are quick to note that quarterbacks at Sanders' level often weigh team culture, offensive system, and long-term opportunities over immediate win-loss records, and his statement may reflect precisely that strategic thinking. Meanwhile, the Bills organization has maintained its usual poker face, offering no comment on the bold declaration. In league circles, whispers suggest that while Sanders' words are definitive, the draft process is unpredictable. Negotiations, trades, and team needs can shift dramatically between now and draft day, meaning that nothing is truly off the table, except, apparently, a jersey in Buffalo. As the speculation continues, one thing is clear. SHEDEUR Sanders is not just a player to watch on the field. He is a quarterback whose career decisions are already shaping headlines. Whether this is a calculated move to spark intrigue or a genuine stance on his future, it's a storyline that promises to keep NFL insiders, fans, and rival teams talking well into the season. The rumor of Never Buffalo might just be the beginning of one of the most compelling draft sagas in recent memory. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.